Okay, so this is the second video of data structure and algorithm. So in the previous video, I talk about uh, data structures and basic stuff, basic thing about arrays. So now in this video, we are going to much focus for programming related stuff. Uh, so when it comes to programming, we are doing C programming here. So you must be installed DevC++ on your PC. So if you haven't installed DevC++ software, you can download it from the link. I will leave that link on the description. Okay, so today's topic is array representation in C. So as you already know, array is a static data type which can store a particular data type. So here is the example: int array 10 equal to 20, 56, 12, 8, 5. Likewise, there are some elements. So this is how you implement or define an array in C. So mostly in Java and C double plus and C sharp. This is the way you how to implement an array. So the first thing is data type. Uh, so in here it is integer data type. So you can show that data type by typing int, which is the simplified form of int. That is how you write the data type, corresponding data type in C. So the second thing is array name. So in here array name is just simply array. So you can name it as anything, array, or maybe arr, maybe x, maybe array2, something like that. But remember, when you are naming your variable, so when it comes to array, when you are naming your array, that should be started with some kind of uh, letter. At least it should be started with one letter. So make sure you don't use numbers or special characters at the beginning of the variable, because it is not the way you implement variables or arrays or any kind of data structure name in programming, and especially in C. So that is the array name. And the next thing is the size, which you have put in the bracket. So in my case, I have 10 element with in my array. So the size of the array is 10. So if you want to make an array which containing 100 of elements, you can put 100 as the size. Uh, so the rest is the element 20, 56, 12, 8, 5. Those are the elements that your array has. So basically it starts with the 0 index. So the indexing is just like the same in the theoretical part. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3. Likewise it goes up. So array is basically a container where it stores value. It could be containing integer values, or it could be containing string values or float values, double values, any kind of value, but not in the mixed values, which means your array must not be contain both integer and strings. If you want to make a valid array, it should be contain only one data type, which means if you want to store integers, then only integers. If you want to store strings, then only strings, no integer values or other data types which contain only a particular array. So array is a static data type. I said that in the previous video. So it means after declaring the size of the particular array, it can be changed when program is running. So array is a defined data type, which means it is not randomly increasing its size or randomly decreasing its size. So if once you define the size of the array, you can't change that array size in between when program is running. So you can change it in the code, you can change it after this execution or before the execution, but you can't change that corresponding value when it is in execution, which means when the program is running, then the array is static. It can't be reduced its size, or it can't be emphasize its own size. So make sure when you are defining an array, you should be having some kind of idea uh, how many elements that you going to store in that particular array. Otherwise it will be overflowing of the uh, values. So I will come that overflow segment in the later episode. Just make sure for now array is a static data type and it can't change its own value when program is running. Array elements should be in same data type. In example, data type is integer. It could be integer, float, double, or string, like that. So as I said before, it should be containing only one data type. It can't be containing mixed data type. Okay. So the basic operation on the array. So these are the things we are going to cover in this video series. So there will be bunch of codings that we going to implement by using C. So the first thing is traversing an array, which means reading all the elements in the array. Basically, examples like print elements which contain on the array, or just returning elements on the array. So we can use method and functions uh, in order to do those things, and I will explain those later. The second thing is inserting elements to array, which means add element to array. So your array is static data type. It can't increase its own value when it's running, but we can input values for that corresponding array. The third thing is searching an element in an array, which means search and corresponding element at a particular index. So as I already told, array is representing its specific location by indexing, like 0 in 0th index, first index, second index, like that. So we can do some searching algorithm for that array in order to search some particular value. And fourth one is deleting an element from array. So arrays, as I told before, array is an static data type. So you can both input, output, and also remove the values from that particular array. The other thing is merging two arrays, which means combine two arrays in order to make single array. So typically you can merging any kind of arrays. It won't be able to only two arrays. It could be 3 arrays, 4 arrays, 5 arrays, any kind of arrays you can't combine. But the code will be kind of complicated. We will go on to that later in episode. And the last thing is sorting an array, which means sorting the values of an array ascending or descending order. So basically it's another way to output values and creating a new array. So that's kind of complicated for that level, but I will show you how to do it in later episode. Okay, so make sure those are the things that we are going to learn uh, in the future. Okay, so the first topic, traversing. Traversing an array means reading or accessing. traversing an array means reading or accessing each and every element of a particular array for special purposes. So special purposes are that we are going to cover. First thing is printing elements. Second thing is counting total number of elements which are in that particular array, or perform any kind of process that can be done to array element. Examples like summation, which means you can output everything that contain on the array and you can get the sum of those values. So make sure that your array should be containing integer values, otherwise the summation will not be that much accurate. Examples like that your corresponding array containing string values, the summation of the string value means that much, that is not make sense, so typically summation means that your corresponding array should be containing any kind of numerical values. It could be integers, floats, doubles, any kind of numerical values. Okay, so that is the basically traversing. So objectives. The first objective is how to write pseudocodes, and the second objective is how to write C codes according to your corresponding pseudocode. So make sure you know both things, and pseudocode is much essential because pseudocode is basically how your program should be followed. So basically it's the idea of your program, how you solve the corresponding problem by using pseudocodes. So pseudocode is very essential when it comes to programming, and when it comes to data structure and algorithm, we are going to do so many pseudocode, and likewise we are going to do same amount of C codes. So make sure you are much focused on the pseudocode, because C means actually just a one language, one programming language. So there are many programming languages in the world. Examples like Java, C, and Python, and C++. Likewise, there are so many programming languages. So if you are only practicing one programming languages, and if you are majoring only one programming languages, won't be that much good, because those kind of programming languages are replacing by the time. And if your programming language, if you the thing you are majored is overrated or will be overrated, then your knowledge will be not much usable. So if you can do pseudocode, you can convert that pseudocode into any kind of programming language. If you can do pseudocode, you can make a C code by using that pseudocode. If you can do pseudocode, you can make a Java code by using that pseudocode. Likewise, you can do anything by using that pseudocoding structure. Okay. Okay, so pseudocode for output data to from an array. Actually, pseudocode for output data from an array. Okay, so this is the pseudocode. This is how you write pseudocode. The first thing is that we should do to initialize the corresponding variables that we are going to use in the particular program. So in my case, I used I as the lower bound. Okay, so here is the graphical representation of an array. So the lower bound is basically the least significant space on the array, or the 0th index. So the lower bound is 0, and the upper bound means the maximum number of element. Otherwise it can say the last index. So in my case it is not 4 by but 5. So I had done some mistake. The upper bound should be 5 and the lower bound should be 0. So this is the corresponding array which containing 6 elements. Okay, so now we are going to just output data from the array. So I initialized and a variable as I, which is the lower bound. So its value is 0 in default state. And here this is the basic while loop, which is also known as repetition. So while mean here is the condition, which means I greater than or equal to upper bound, which means till your I value is okay. So this condition okay, so till your I value to come this amount, this process will be happening repetitively. So basically this program will be run 6 times each time, because it has sorry, because it contains 6 element. So 6 times that corresponding value should be printed. So that while loop or repetition will be happening 6 times. So the first time it print AI, which means A0, which is the 50, the first element. Then the I value will be increased, I equal to I plus 1, which means now the I is 1. So now it is going on again for step 2 and check the following condition. So now I is 1 and less than or equal to upper bound 4. So 1 not 4 but 5. So now I is also less than the upper bound, so which means the condition is true. So the while loop happen, which means it's again print AI. Now it is printing A1, which means 20, and it again increase the value of I. So now it's 2. Likewise the same process happened again and again and again in order to print all the values which contain on your corresponding array. And after printing all the values of your array, this statement will be false, because the I value when your I value reach 6, so now it's not less than or equal to upper bound, so now it's overflowing its I value, so the condition is not true anymore, so the while loop won't happen. So the program will be in. So when your program is ending, all the values has been printed and traversed. So that's the basic pseudocode that we should do in order to output data from any kind of array. Okay, so that's the pseudocode. Let's move to the C code. So this is the image that I captured on my corresponding C code. So this is how you should write C code. There are several principles that you should have been followed, and there are several syntax that we are going to learn in order to program our code. So remember, this is the way how your code look like after coded it. Okay, so let's move to the coding. Okay, so when it comes to coding, let me I quickly create a new folder. Okay, so uh, for coding purposes we need dev C++. So I already installed it on my PC. So if you haven't installed dev C++ on the your laptop or computer, you can download simply Google dev C++ on the web browser, or you can check out the video description, and there is a link also, you can redirect from it easily. Okay, so this is the corresponding software that I been talking about, which is the dev C++. So now we are going to do C coding. So in order to do C coding, we need to create a C file. So I will rename this as code 1, maybe code 1, and the extension is not txt. Now it is just C. So make sure that you change it its extension also, not only the name but also the extension. Otherwise your computer won't, or if you more specifically, your compiler won't understand what type of file that you are being compiled. So in order to do C programming, your corresponding file should be in C extension. So if you can't see that extension on your file, you can just check out this option toolbar and go to view, and here is the option called hide extension for known file types. So this should be unticked, otherwise this extension won't be shown. So if you want to change that particular extension, you should be uncheck these checkbox and apply and OK. Then this will be shown if you haven't been shown previously. Okay, so now you can just drag and drop this file. Okay, so now that file has been initialized. So now we can do our coding. So the first thing is you have to do C program. You have to initialize what kind of preprocessors you are using. So in my case, it is just include stdio.h. So this is just a preprocessor that you should have been included before doing C programming. And now I'm initializing my main method or main function. You can say basically we are saying it has a method. So int main. Now I'm initializing corresponding variables. The first thing is int I, and the second thing is my corresponding array. So I will make int array which containing 5 values equal to let's say some values like 10, 20, 58, 0, 1, like that. And make sure you put in the semicolon after writing each line. Okay, so now we can do our loop. So now I'm going to snip my while loop. So the condition will be I less than or equal 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because when it comes to fourth index, there are no elements has been to be initialized, so the corresponding loop should be end. And the I should be started with first element, otherwise we can say the 0th index, so that I should be initialized as 0. So now we can print our corresponding value. So in order to print any kind of particular value, we can use printf function. This is a predefined function, the C programming language, which we are using for output corresponding values. So this means print formatted. So you can add some kind of line in here. So let's say the value of mod D. So just focus what I'm writing. The value of mod D index is colon again mod D. So this is mod D mean some kind of a thing we are using for initialize a particular variable. So first I want to add the I and then array I. Okay, so the meaning of this line is this line will be printed like this. The first line will be printed like the value of 0 index is 10. The second line will be printed like the value of first index is 20. Likewise, there will be printing 5 lines. So this mod D is initializing this I, which means the corresponding index. So first line will be 0 index because I is 0. Then the second line will be first index because I is 1. Just like that, there will be 5 lines for I, and likewise the ARR I means the corresponding element ARR I. So ARR 0 means 10, ARR 1 means 20, ARR 3 means 58, ARR 4 means 0, ARR 3 means 0, ARR 4 means 1. Likewise, all the element will be printing. So now we should be increment our I in order to make that loop happen for a limited rounds. Otherwise this will be infinite round because condition is always true. Then that corresponding loop won't be stopped. So it's infinite loop, and we don't want infinite loop here. So I just increment the I. So this basically you can write in several ways. You can write I equal to I plus 1, and this is kind of long, so you can just type I double plus semicolon. So it also saying the same thing, and this double pluses should be added after the I, which means the post fixing. Otherwise your I won't be increased as you want. So now the loop is happening. So we can just now save our code and run. Okay, so here a tab called execute. Before execute, before run your following code, you should be compiled, because now this is just a C file. So Windows can't recognize Windows can recognize C file, but it can't run C file in the console panel. So this corresponding C file will be translated into exe file, which means the executionable file in the Windows. So this corresponding .c extension file will be converted .exe file, which means the executable file in the Windows. So if I click compile over here. This will be compiling. So if you haven't any errors, if you haven't any errors, this will be compiled successfully. Otherwise there will be showing corresponding errors that your code having. So now you check your folder. There is a file called code1.exe, which means that is the executable file. So now you can run your code. So in order to run your code, you can execute and run. So now the Windows CMD has been opened. Okay, so there are some okay, so this is the output. The program is working, but it is not printing the corresponding lines line by line, because I haven't told this code specifically it should be printed line by line. So if you wanted to print this corresponding output line by line, you can use new line method. So if you add like this will be printed line by line. So now I can save it again, and now I can use a shortcut for my compiling process and run process. So for compiling, you can click F9. If you click F9, the corresponding code will be compiled. And in order to run your program, you can click F10. So the corresponding compiled program will be run. So first I compile, there are no errors, and F10, the code is running now. Okay, so these are the output. The value of 0th index is 10. The value of first index is 20. The value of third index is second index is 58. Third 0, fourth 1. Okay, so basically that is the way how you should how you implement code by using C. And this is the code for traversing an array. So that is the end of our second video.